So Peacemaker Season 2 has begun, and pretty soon it will begin to get a whole lot crazier than it has been. I already covered the first 2 episodes, and James Gunn said the last 3 episodes, 6 through 8, will be the craziest episodes yet. Things that'll supposedly make you cry, huge revelations, and apparently a direct setup for Man of Tomorrow, and that'll all start just next week. But just how has Peacemaker Season 2 been being? Serious question, quiz me. I know all about how Season 2 of Peacemaker has been going so far. Ask me anything about it. What was that question, dear player? Oh, you want to know how episode 6-7 is going?
Sure thing.
Episode 3 opens so damn strong with the reveal that Harcourt and Rick Flag Jr. were a thing before the events of the Suicide Squad. I thought he'd just be revealed to be her boyfriend in the alt dimension and things would get awkward, and they still do, but they open up with that in the main DCU, which I thought was bold and adds way more to the story. We do get an Enchantress mention, which some individuals seemingly thought this confirmed Suicide Squad from 2016 or like the Ayer cut being canon, but obviously it's probably the case that there were similar events that occurred, but I highly doubt that being the case, since the whole, thing about it makes the story all the more emotionally complicated and layered that this other angle is unveiled and explored of a reason why Harcourt would be so conflicted about her feelings towards Chris. It might even explain some of her destructive behavior. Chris in the alt universe gets swagged up to meet Harcourt at Argus and is met with a badass whip, the love and adulation of the people, and the clear ire of the woman he loves. He even gets to stop what looks like a domestic terrorist attack from the alt Sons of Liberty, and he's doing fucking Looney Tunes moves on these guys. The action is always so impressive, as well as just subversive. Like, you don't know when it'll come and how intense it's going to be at a moment's notice. Keith even comes through and rammed through a helicopter, and I thought it was gonna like implode on itself in like a black hole. Like, the effect was insane, and they have a kind of brother duo team up met with applause. Again, there's literally no reason to leave this universe. You got your bae, and you just hit an IRL victory royale with your big bro. It kind of doesn't get any better than that. And in the main DCU, Flurry is ripping into Economos for not warning them properly about Eagly, and Tim Meadows is so damn hilarious, using a man's fake disability against him and him giving him props for that. Bordeaux bringing in Michael Rooker's Red Saint Wild, expert eagle hunter, to handle Eagly after what he did to the crew in the country where one of the only rules is don't kill this specific bird. Judo Master returning, being possessed by the spirit of Mark Norman and hurling a hey fatty at Economos. I mean, all us real laughers are eating good as hell. The thing everyone is pointing out is that there are no non-white people anywhere in the background, so it might be the case, and this is what people are postulating, that they are on Earth X, where essentially Germany won World War II, and so that could be why Augie doesn't seem to be racist, since there's nobody to be racist to. Or it's just another dystopian Dark Reflection universe, which I totally buy. The episode ends with Argus at Chris's door, about to invade, as he returns to think about his final decision to move to the alt dimension, be with alt Harcourt, and it's wrapped up in a bow with Adrian kissing the homies goodnight. Because if you don't, you might see scary monsters in your dreams, like this. Now, episode 4, besides starting off with the origin of the quantum unfolding chamber, how Augie got it from that weird alien being, and later we find out that he might not have even made the helmets entirely, the episode belongs to Econogo. He's dealing with fighting back verbal attacks from all over. He's stalling for Chris to escape. He's spitting, lying, letting the elderly eat shit off the floor, and then letting the elderly eat shit on the floor. Some of the most Sigma things you can do. The whole plot of the episode revolves around Chris moving the door to the quantum unfolding chamber somewhere else before Argus could get their hands on it. We get a Chris vs. Judo Master rematch, which I love. Judo Master's entrance to the fight, moving through the forest, doing backflips, is so tough. For whatever reason, I got Hot Rod vibes from this whole fight. Another instance of good action and using your greater weight on a smaller and weaker opponent, highly Sigma. But Chris is able to get it to his grandfather's house after Ads comes through, absolutely clutch in all regards. She really is such the heart and pillar of the show, really causing Chris to think about his decisions, to go back to that other world and his place in this world, allowing Chris to contemplate, be reflective, and be vulnerable. You see exactly why Chris feels the way he does. So much humanity here that you can put yourself in his shoes with ease. Maybe the universe did mess up. Maybe throughout the infinite multiverse, this reverberation of Chris Smith drew the short stick, and he has a chance to correct that cosmic injustice now. There's a version of your life that's just better, that you have an opportunity to slip out of your misery and live in that splendor. Who would not feel that pull to do so? The performances from both of them here are spectacular. I love the simple truth that Leota hits on here, very Pa Kentish, and also really reminds reminds me of this quick scene from the movie Manic.
You don't deserve that, man. Lyle, wherever you're going, you are still gonna be there.
Wherever you're going, you're still gonna be there. The biggest problems in life are the ones we carry within ourselves. Everything else evens out. No matter if Chris goes to this other dimension where everything is seemingly perfect, the answer to his problem cannot be found externally if it remains inside of himself. You can't run away from your own issues. You can try though. All the while, Harcourt gets commissioned by Flag Sr. to bring in Peacemaker in order to bypass her blacklisting. Essentially, people need money, and like having the stability that some jobs can afford you is extremely tantalizing to someone who's about to get evicted. So Harcourt, under the auspices of Rick Flag Sr. and Argus, invites Chris to meet up with her so they can arrest him, which motivation-wise makes all the sense in the world. She gets employment, gets to, in a sense, avenge Flag Jr., and then give that solace to Flag Sr. like she promised. So by the time we get to episode 5, we find out that Harcourt did in fact subliminally tell Chris not to come and was actually still watching out for him, and the internal confliction is growing. And I love how they let that sit, and the episodic nature kind of lets you sit on that feeling that Amelia Harcourt was going to turn on Chris for her job, but even she wouldn't go that far, which is like so crazy. Help the man trying to be a better man that was the same man who killed your only friend, or help the father of the man who was your only friend make the man who killed him pay like you promised him. It's just so damn good. Chris obviously completely ignores all the danger that he is full well aware of to meet Harcourt, since he needs one real reason to stay in this universe, to try and find a reason to exist where he belongs and not escape into a dream he could bleed into forever. But Harcourt's telling him the same thing she's been saying, which is when they hooked up, it meant absolutely nothing to her. Stings. But they surround him, and this is when we get the reveal that Sacha Bordeaux is actually a cyborg already, which is pretty nuts because at least in the comics, that wasn't revealed until the OMAC Project event from 2005, where all the OMACs on Earth started targeting all the metahumans. OMACs were this nanite virus that would turn people into cyborgs. So in the DCU, instead of getting impaled and having that trigger the reveal, she was one apparently this whole time. She was in some plane crash and Argus replaced her body with nanite. I feel like her and the engineer will have a lot to talk about, but Harcourt cares more than she lets on, and she instructs Economos to book Chris so that they can't make him just disappear, because that is what they tried to do. Okay, Rick Flag Sr. said, you know, body cam off, and got a hold of Chris, and he mollywopped him. Okay, he hit him with a knee I was completely not expecting. Everyone is posting it now, and it was so jarring that when I saw it, I was just like, this is how you do it. The little things like that, which I'm assuming was a mannequin of John Cena because of how lifeless it moved, and having Frank Grillo deliver a delicious, delectable knee to its flaccid structure was incredible. Okay, the thing is, I like Chris. I'm infatuated by this character of Peacemaker, but he legitimately deserves this and more for what he did. And the cherry on top is that it looks great. You know, you kill a man's hero son, you don't let that man know the full details, then you give that man full reign on his son's murderer. That is going to happen. These are the things that are going to happen. These are the emotions that need to be expressed, okay? A beautiful, chaotic, disturbing confluence of emotion. Then you give that man blue balls when they have to let Chris go because Economos booked him because that's what Harcourt told him to do. Well, maybe not so blue balls. It's all too perfect. All the while we discover Eagly is the Prime Eagle, and him and his homies tear Red Saint Wild apart. Pretty wild. And the episode ends with Chris leaving to the other dimension with Judo Master following unbeknownst to him, and the door closing behind him, and him leaving a note for the 11th Street kids that he still loves them, even Harcourt, but that he doesn't feel he's redeemable in the DCU, and he wants to go where he thinks it's actually possible for him to be good and a hero. This causing Adrian to go hysteric with crying and ads being there for him, but for Amelia to come through and lead the 11th Street kids to get their friend back, very motivational, which this is essentially the final note of a man. These aren't just words he wanted them to hear, but these are pieces of his soul he wanted to leave behind with these people that he cared about more than anything. As far as it goes, I imagine Chris is going to enjoy the new universe, thinking he's good, and then he's going to be met with Judo Master, and that's when the true reality will set in, when everyone is going to want to kill him, so they end up teaming up. And things will get interesting when the 11th Street kids come through and Chris sees his fake brother trying to attack his BFF ads. Vidge is gonna go crazy crazy in this universe. I wonder what Alt Vigilante is like, because that guy is probably going to be a real demon. And once Argus comes through, it's going to really boil over. I'm also just very hung up on what ads had said about what if there is no dimension. That was kind of snuck in there nicely, but I'm a believer that Gunn knows ball. And I think he knows how much ball some of the fans know, for the most part. But I think maybe there could be another level to this twist. What if instead of it being Universe X, what if it was more sinister? What if ads was on the money? Not an actual dimension, but a world that gives you everything you want, but none of it is real. You know, I'm not currently aware of any sentient parasitic universes, but I'm aware of a plan. Could there be some kind of Black Mercy out there, or a Black Mercy universe that is parasitically feeding off of Chris's greatest desires? I just feel that the racist universe is a bit too apparent for the ball knowers, at least, and maybe there's an even deeper twist that will be revealed. That line felt like it was meant to be even deeper than it seems, and honestly, what if, you know, Enchantress is involved? I mean, I feel like she would be pretty pissed if Rick Flag died too, right? So I could see her having a personal vendetta against Chris also, so that's just something, another little thing I thought about. These were some great mid-season episodes. The story and motivations were compelling, the performances were palpable, the action and comedy is always solid, and the twists and turns as well, so there's never really a dull moment. I think if anything, the main story is moving a bit slow, and some characters like Ads and Adrian are less busy this season, but it could just be that they'll get more time in the last 3 episodes. All in all, Peacemaker is great as always so far, so I'd honestly give it a solid 8.5, and depending on how it sticks to landing, it could go up or down. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what y'all thought of the last 3 episodes, whether you like them or not, and any predictions you have for the final 3. I'm all ears. But that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope all of you guys are well, and I will see you in the next one.